you can totally reduce and interrupt the sexual resentment cycle that you're on. But Betsy, what's the sexual resentment cycle? I got you. So, when I found myself in this loving relationship with this guy that, for all intents and purposes, I should have felt safe, cared for, listened to, we had a solid connection. And when we had that sexual experience and I froze and I could not say what I needed, that was the beginning of me realizing, holy crap, I need help. And two, I'm angry not only with him, but with myself. So, so then what I realized was that after years of one, healing myself, um understanding the process that I was and like the cycle and the patterns that I was on, because just because I started to do the research, put into practice all of the things that I needed in order to sexually heal myself, it didn't mean that I did not go through a bunch of trial and error, and that to this day I still don't have moments where I don't speak up fully. But even with that being said, I am not on the sexual resentment cycle, like hamster wheel, the way that I used to be before. Oh, no, 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 no. Now I know exactly how to um how to care for myself when I find myself in a situation where, oh, I didn't speak up in the way that I desired. So, what is the sexual resentment cycle? That is the pattern that we experience when we don't speak our needed desire in the time that we are sexually intimate with a person, which then just sets off a bunch of experiences and phases. It sets us up for experiences and behaviors that just keep us in the loop. So, the first phase of the sexual resentment cycle is the sex. You're doing it, it's all good, it's everything that you want it to be. And then phase two, the unspoken desire. It happens, you you feel, oh, I want either more of this, or I want less of that, or I want to stop. Anything in between, I want to slow down. You feel yourself wanting to say something and you just can't. You just hear it in your head, you hear it in your body, and then before you know it, you're disassociated, you're disengaged, you're thinking about X, Y, and Z, and you completely just check out. Completely check out. Then you go into phase three. Phase three is the post immediate resentment. That is when the act is done, he done rolled over, or whatever it is that he does. He didn't notice. You didn't say anything. You're frustrated. You definitely didn't get the post immediate rest that comes after sex. So then you're frustrated. You're probably staying up, ruminating about the thoughts, about everything that just happened, everything that he didn't do, that you didn't do, that you didn't say. It becomes just a whirlwind of numbness and thoughts. Then we have the sensual fallout, which can go anywhere from a day to weeks to months. And that is when just we just file it under another moment that happened. We become distant, we become passive aggressive, we become moody and frustrated and have misplaced anger, or just misplaced emotions for with our children, with work. We may begin to find ourselves binge eating, we'll be maybe smoking or drinking a little bit more to just forget about what has happened, because it's at the forefront of your mind. It's like, God, this happened again. And it's frustrating. And I totally understand what that feels like, to then continue just numbing out the feeling, numbing out the thought. And if you think about it, instead of it being like when they say the death of a thousand cuts, it's the disintegration of a thousand moments, because you just begin to file and to just suppress all of these moments together. And it's just another time that you didn't speak up. Then phase 5, the final phase, it's the sexual assurance. You begin to feel the distance. You begin to worry, like, is he forgetting about me? Does he not care about me? You are trying to find ways to connect, trying to find ways to have that intimacy, because instead of just saying what has been bothering you, that this sexual intimacy is difficult for you, that you are in a season right now where speaking up during sex is hard, and that you need some extra support around that, and that you want to talk about it. Instead of doing that, you go for sexual experiences to reconnect and to bond and to assure that you're still loved and that you're still wanted. And then we're back at phase 1, where we're having the intimate experience, another unspoken desire. We're back at the post sex resentment, back at the sensual fallout, and then you're back at reconnecting through sex and not saying anything, and we're on the vicious cycle over and over and over again. But the beauty of this is that even though I and I'm sure you, wherever you are in this process, have been having sexual resentment or have lived with sexual resentment, you have the responsibility and you have the opportunity, because now you have the responsibility to expand your capacity. If you feel resentment, you can definitely feel presence during sex, and you can interrupt that. You can interrupt this cycle at any point. And so in creating and really codifying for myself the sexual resentment cycle, I also created a protocol, the sensual presence protocol. And that allowed me to really prepare myself, one, during my celibacy, which I did for about a year and a half. And then also it supported me in preparing my partner. So if you'd like to know more about the sensual presence protocol and what that entails, let me know in the comments. And are you right now in the sexual resentment cycle somewhere? Are you right now going through a sensual fallout? Are you right now trying to get some sexual reassurance because you actually don't have the support or the capacity to say what is going on in your intimate life with your partner? Because that takes vulnerability, and vulnerability is also a skill. So let me know where you're at, and if you'd like some support in actually creating a sensual presence protocol for yourself. And if you do, let me know, send me a DM, book a call, and we can see if you're a good fit. And I hope that you are well and you're having a beautiful day.